School nurse's shocking discovery: is your natural toothpaste secretly damaging your child's teeth? Okay. I found this advertorial from these video ads on YouTube, and I really like those video ads. They're like pretty good. And it's this chewing gum which is for their teeth, like making their teeth stronger, which is really, I think it's a pretty good product right here. January 18, 2024 by Maria Noman. So I found two pages. It looks like they were split testing this page, but it's not really complete, right? The footer is missing, but it looks like the same page except a different headline. So, I mean, I'm guessing this one's working because they have their page here. They got their footer, their heading right here, their Christmas sale, right? Working in school, I saw too many kids with sensitive teeth, even using pricey fluoride-free brands. I found the hidden reason why and a Japanese discovery that helps teeth heal naturally. Okay, so they're going with a Japanese discovery angle, which is actually really good. Okay, I see this a lot with brands that are actually doing like multiple 6 to 7 figures a month. They come up with angles. Like I see the Japanese kind of angle a lot, like Japanese ancient, like these kind of cultural or old techniques that have been used for, solving whatever problem it is for the product. I see these like advertorials and they do pretty well. So that's kind of their to break like that kind of market sophistication right there. Because I mean, for adults looking for their kids' toothpaste, right? I mean, first of all, the heading is good at is damaging your child's teeth, right? I mean, personally, like I'm not even thinking of that. Because there's already like the main brands, like in my mind, I don't have kids, but there's like the main brands that have the toothpaste. I just have toothpaste. I mean, kids, when I was a kid, I had like toothpaste that has a taste to it, right? But this is pretty good to get their attention. And they're coming with like a story, right? Working in school, I saw too many kids with sensitive teeth. And then talking about pricey fluoride brands and a Japanese discovery. So it looks like it's coming from a school nurse, this article. Their teeth hurt. Nurse Emily, my apple made my tooth cry. So my water is too cold today. I noticed something strange. Many of these kids came from families who really try to be healthy. They pack good lunches and use those natural toothpaste without fluoride. So if I'm a parent, I'm instantly thinking, right? If I'm not giving my kids natural toothpaste, like if these people who are giving natural toothpaste are having issues, what's going to happen with my kid, right? So when you're writing your advertorial, you got to think of your customer avatar, right? I mean, I'm guessing a lot of parents don't, like I'm sure there are parents who get natural toothpaste for their kids, but I'm assuming they don't, not that many parents think about getting like specifically natural toothpaste. Now if they see this ad, of course they're thinking about their kids' health. The ad is probably about their kids' teeth, to go along with the headline. But it's really important to think about your customer, right? The customer avatar, exactly who they are, right? I'm thinking it might be a 33-year-old mom with a 10-year-old, right? And then, like they're kind of you can kind of picture it even with just this one section right here, who the avatar is, right? Who they're calling out. And you can picture in their shoes what they're thinking. And they're probably thinking, oh, maybe my kid did tell me that their teeth was hurting. Or maybe I'm not giving natural toothpaste and I want to avoid, potentially a costly fix later down the line, which could be like if my kid has a cavity or something, or if my kid has some sort of like problem with their teeth that they'll have to pay a lot of money. But let's see. They got their CTA right here. What's the real root of this? Okay, they can fix themselves using minerals in our spit. I'm pretty sure that's how it does. How it's actually does. Think of it like a wall that stops the good minerals from helping your teeth get stronger. So they're actually really explaining this really well. If you watch like people like Alex Hormozy, he's always talking about like, make sure when you explain, you can explain it to a 5-year-old. So making sure that they get it, like kind of dumbing words down, is really good, especially if you're selling direct to consumer, right? I mean, of course, if you're selling like business to business, you want it to be understandable, but it's even more for direct to consumer. I mean, these people, they come off work, they go on Instagram, Facebook, after a long day at work, and then they just watch all these videos and brain rot and everything, and then all of a sudden they see your ad, right? They're not thinking, they're not in their work state, or they're not in their, thinking like 100%, like analyzing everything state. So keeping it easy to understand is really, really important. And just saying things like with big words, like even scientific words, a lot of people, like even brand owners that talk to me, they're trying to get like sophisticated vocabulary, right? Some big words to make it seem like the product is more valuable. And some cases that might work, but in a lot of cases, like that's just for show, right? That's not actually gonna sell them, and explain to them well, how it works. Because it's really important for, your prospect, right? Whoever you're advertising to understand the product, the mechanism, how it works, why it works, and why it's worth how much you're charging. Because I'm assuming you're charging, a decent AOV, because you need to charge a higher AOV if you want to scale. And if you're making advertorials, that's the whole point. You want to increase your AOV. You want your customers to be more profitable and last longer. My research in Japan revealed something incredible. Japanese children have fewer cavities, so they're giving some proof. The moment everything changed, the brilliant Japanese solution in the form of a special chewing gum. I discovered a US company. Okay, and then they're showing the product. What happened? They're going through the week 1, week 2, week 3. Okay, Japanese signs. Teeth became 43% denser. So they did show this chart, but it looks like they didn't really include any articles. They didn't include scientific studies, which is kind of what I'm looking for here. Especially with this kind of health product for teeth. I would like, you can just have like screenshots of an article or multiple articles just to show them like, yes, there's articles on this, talking about Japanese, cavities or whatever, talking about the Japanese method, how they use it, or if there's anything about gum, right? I'm not sure what type of gum this is. Maybe they just changed the maybe it's selling well somewhere else and they just changed the angle for teeth. I'm not too sure how well known like this kind of product is, like if there are multiple big brands selling this. But in general, I would like some kind of like visual proof, because they already have images of teeth. They have not really images of people, which I would definitely prefer. They have this diagram right here, which is really, really good. This is a solid diagram right here. This is what you want explaining, right? They have like 3 complete like teeth opening and down. And nowadays, like you can use AI. You can use AI to create some diagrams and things. You got to play around with it. It's not that good, right? I mean, you can hire someone to animate it, but like this is kind of what you want, showing exactly how it works. And this just really works well as like, a video. If you're making some advertorials that are kind of scientific, It's really good. But if I was writing this advertorial, personally, mainly, I would probably include a few posts of parents. Because if I'm a parent getting something for my kid, I want to see other parents with their kids and their kids like showing their teeth. I would probably make an embedded post with like an Instagram post, and then there's like a mom there, and then there's the kid there, and then with the kid is happy. You don't even have to have the kid with the product in hand, right? I mean, it would be nice if you could generate an AI photo of like a realistic mom and her kid, and the kid with, you know, the gum in their hand. But really, you could just sell the result. Just have a parent and their kid, and the kid is happy, the mom is happy, or the dad is happy, and then you just embed it here as proof. That would do really, really well, especially for parents, right? If parents are buying products, they want to see a lot of social proof, especially parents. They're very like, a lot of parents, they have a lot of expenses, right? They have to pay for themselves, they have to pay for their kid, especially in this kind of economy nowadays, right? People are living paycheck to paycheck. What they want to see value, and they want to see worth, and you have to show them it's worth it, you know, and leverage everything you can. And one thing you can do is leverage social proof. And I would have studies cited here, probably like one or two really like good images and like sections just talking about the discovery. I mean, they have it here. They have some things like tooth sensitivity. I would kind of like visualize, maybe they already have a graph here, but you can have like a very simple line graph, right? Or you can have a very simple chart, or very simple, like you can even have an image with just text on the screen with like a specific statistic, right? You can literally have an image with tooth and like one of these statistics here. Teeth became denser. I mean, these are just some like kind of, what is it? They're like just data, but you can say like, let's say this organization said 1 in 3 kids experience like teeth that hurt or something, or teeth that are like sensitive, right? Leading Japanese dental research. I'm not sure if they probably split tested like a headline talking about Japanese like what they do to combat teeth for kids, to help out with teeth. So office, the science works through nature's own methods, right? So there's plenty of different angles that they could take with this product, that they even mention in this advertorial. You take like a nature angle. This gum is like natural, or you can say this gum does this for your kids, right? You can say like, you know, ancient people, like they took this herb and then we introduced it in this gum. And yeah, I mean, they got their risk reversal right here. 90 days to test the product, next to no risk. How can I get my hands on the product? So they're telling them how exactly to do it. And some people, you know, like some people might skip this part. A lot of people skip, you know, like the CTA, like specifically explaining it in like a whole entire section. Sometimes, especially for older people, it's good to explain and tell them. Sometimes they just need to be told, okay? Tell them the next steps. Tell them to click this, you know, big blue button, which is not that big. I'm not sure how it looks on mobile. Let's see. I mean, you can tell them to click the button, check availability button. I see that more commonly for advertorials written for like older people, but even people in their late 30s, mid 30s, 40s, you know, parents, sometimes like their brain is just processing things, and you just need to tell them, click this button to go to the next, right? And then they click the button, they land on the page, boom, right? So they got this product page, Loreen Co. I mean, pretty appealing actually. They got their day 1, day 30. I would assume they would split test like a product page specifically made for like children and like parents with children, but I mean, I guess this is working for them. Okay, they got trust on their product page, which all of this is really important when you're building your advertorial. You gotta consider what is the next page that they're gonna click on after making your advertorial, right? So you can have a really good advertorial, but if they don't think, if it's like a bit awkward when you think about the process your prospect is gonna go through, like you gotta make sure that it aligns, okay? So when you're like a 30-year-old mom, you gotta click, like if it looks too different, you just won't get enough trust. Now, these guys have the same kind of color scheme going on here, and it looks like their website is still the same, byloreen.com, but they have Gem Tooth Care as like the kind of third party like article company, okay? And that's actually really good, like coming off as like a third party for educating people with an advertorial does actually really well, okay? So anyways, here's our advertorial, right? I would kind of include some more like people, like if you're selling to kids, to parents with kids, you want to see parents with kids, okay? There's a woman that works with kids and parents at a school, but there's not really any images of parents and kids. I would definitely add that as testimonials, and I would kind of add a bit more like scientific proof, like visually, okay? They already explained it, right? I would add a bit more scientific proof instead of just an image with the product. But anyways, think of those when you're going over your advertorial. What's really good, what I like about it, is the kind of story. It's a lot more believable than typical advertorials, and also their mechanism, which is Japanese discovery, right? Japanese discovery. It's very common for a lot of advertorials that do well. I'm sure in the future, when people start using a lot more advertorials, it will be, more used and more used. And so you should really take advantage of it, right? Just different type of angles in your advertorials. And if you're running a brand and you need an advertorial, I make advertorials for e-com brands, right? If you're running ads, specifically I specialize in making it for brands running meta ads. So if you need help with that, message me on X. It's in the description, right? Just click my profile and DM me, and that's basically it.